We went to the rap party, and that was it for the Andy Griffith Show. And Howard may have been the red-headed darling of the show, but life behind Mayberry's white picket fences wasn't always as perfect as it seemed while viewers saw a small town family full of warmth and unity. Behind the scenes, the real dynamics were more complicated. Sure, Howard shared laughs with Andy Griffith and Don Knotts, but there was one cast member he quietly disliked, and he wasn't the only one. That same cast member sparked a feud that even Andy Griffith couldn't forgive. Tension was real, resentment was deep, and it stayed buried for decades until the truth finally came out. This is the castmate who disrupted the peace behind Mayberry's charm. The Andy Griffith Show might be remembered as a wholesome, nostalgic sitcom, but the truth is it was much more complex behind the scenes. Premiering in 1960 and running till 1968, the show produced 249 episodes across 8 seasons, with 159 in black and white and 90 in color. It painted a picture of simple small-town life, but the process of making it was anything but simple. All started as a backdoor pilot on the Danny Thomas show. Andy Griffith was cast as Sheriff Andy Taylor, widowed lawman raising his son Opie, played by a young Ron Howard. Though Mayberry was fictional, Griffith described it as nostalgic and old-fashioned, and more like the 1930s than the actual 1960s. It was meant to feel like a time gone by. The cast became beloved quickly. Barney Fife, the overly eager debutant, be the kind but no-nonsense caretaker, and little Opie rounded out a family that felt real to millions. But behind the laughs, there were real conflicts. Egos clashed, and some personalities never meshed, and one feud in particular stayed hidden for decades. Show was still a success, and it never ranked below 7th in ratings, a rare achievement. It ended its final season at number only. I Love Lucy and Seinfeld did the same. Griffith never won an Emmy, but his co-stars Don Knotts and Frances Bavier won 6. Between them, legacy continued through spin-offs and reunion specials, and fans still gather every year to celebrate Mayberry. Even though the town never really existed, Howard was just a boy on the show, but he was already preparing for a future beyond acting. Born in 1950 for into a showbiz family, his father Rance was an actor and writer. His mother Zhang was also an actress. Ran's early education happened on studio sets and in California's school. Later joined USC's film school, but never graduated. His calling came early. By the age of 5, he already had roles in films and TV shows. True breakthrough came in 1960 with Opie. Taylor remembered pretending a toy turtle was dead on one of his first scenes. That mix of humor and imagination was what made the show magical. Even in the 1960s, the Andy Griffith Show felt timeless. Its warmth was rooted in old-fashioned values, and Knotts as Barney, Frances Bavier as Aunt Bee, and a host of Mayberry residents made it a part of American home. As it may not have won for best comedy, but the love from the audience made it a classic. After the show ended, Howard's fame continued with Happy Days playing Richie Cunningham. He became a teenage icon even as he acted. He dreamed of directing. His first film was Grand Theft Auto in 1977. A deal with producer Roger Corman allowed him to direct in exchange for acting. From that moment, Howard never looked back. His breakthrough as a director came with Night Shift in 1980 to then Kane Splash in 1980 for starring Tom Hanks. Movie was a hit and proved Howard could deliver heartwarming blockbusters. Was never just a child actor, was always a storyteller. But the Andy Griffith Show had one unresolved shadow feud between Andy Griffith and Frances Bavier. On screen, they were Sheriff Taylor, Aunt Bee, but off-screen they were distant and tense. Their differences in personality and work style caused friction. Bavier was private and serious. Griffith was social and relaxed. Said that gap made collaboration difficult. Even small requests during filming could trigger strong reactions from Bavier. Was proud and precise, but also hard to work with. At times, Griffith once visited her home hoping to reconcile, but the visit didn't go well, and deep in the distance years later, when Bavier was battling cancer, she called Griffith and apologized, said she was sorry. She admitted to being difficult and gave him credit for the show's success. It was a rare moment of peace between two legends. Bavier passed in 1989 at age 86. She had retired to North Carolina and spent her final years in Quiet. Griffith also passed at 86 in his beloved North Carolina home. Exact cause was never confirmed, but his passing was a great Lost here feud became part of the show's deeper legacy. Not everything was as rosy as it seemed on screen, but in the end they found forgiveness, and that was what truly mattered. Howard, meanwhile, found his greatest story off-screen love story. Between him and Sherilyn, like most Hollywood romances, theirs lasted. They met as teens, and in 2025 celebrated 50 years of marriage and shared a sunset photo saying it was a river ride through calm waters and rapids. Their first date was a movie and pizza in a green Volkswagen Beetle. 5 years later, they married in Burbank. It wasn't a smooth patrol turned down to proposals before saying yes. She wanted to grow on her own. First, they built a life of love and familiar raising for children, including Bryce and Paige, who followed their path into film. Cheryl was always the heart of their home, and Ron always said she was the one. Together they proved that in a world full of noise, real love still lasts. This was Hollywood Star News, where we bring you the untold truths behind the glitz. If you loved this story, like, share, and subscribe, because every star has a story and we'll be here to tell it.